how did this all happen? Now, we've been waiting for this trade deal for some time. It was announced last year around this time when the Prime Minister was in town. So what went behind the scene? I think that's the first thing we want to know. How were we able to manage to get this deal done? And, if anything you can provide, some tidbits behind the scenes that happened to clinch this trade deal.
Yeah. Rohit, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I think we should ask ourselves as to when did this all begin? You alluded to it very briefly, but I think the whole thing started last year during Prime Minister's visit to the US in February 2025, when the two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, gave two directions to the administration on both sides. One was to conclude to start negotiating the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trade agreement. And second was that they gave us a target of objective of Mission 500, that is a bilateral trade of $500 billion in a few years' time. What followed thereafter was a series of intense engagements and negotiations between the two sides, including several rounds of discussions at the ministerial level. Of course, the chief negotiators on the two sides were in very, very regular touch with each other, always under the direction and supervision of the leadership. And it's the result of those intense, dedicated, and committed efforts on both sides that we saw first the announcement through the two leadership level tweets about the trade deal, and just in a few days thereafter, the text of the joint statement of the framework for an interim agreement was released, which spelled out precisely the achievements that the two sides had made during these negotiations. And the result is that you have a trade deal between the two countries. So I think it's a process that started a year ago, and a year later, the process that was started by Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, and under their direction, we now have a very concrete achievement on both sides in terms of framework for an interim agreement.